So my name's Tim Wagner. Welcome. We're going to crack straight into it as we've got a lot of very important things to share this evening. So slightly different from a structure of what you would normally get on the evenings, because I'm going to be giving a compact, down to the point, precise overview of Gift of Legacy and what we've been doing. And then we've got Regan and Chris who are going to be coming on after me, and they're going to be giving some updates, some discussions on etiquette, and some very specific points. So you really want to sit there for that as well. So for the people who are here for the first time, this is a little bit different. What I'd recommend you to do is absorb what you can, but I'm going to be talking maybe a little bit different language from what you're used to. And I'd highly recommend, ask the person then who invited you for one of the recordings of more detailed presentation. So what my goal is to capture your imagination, to get you to think, this is interesting. I would like to know more. And if I can do that, then I've achieved what my goal is. So we got 150 people on our Zoom, and I noticed about 15 minutes ago there was nearly 100 on the YouTube channel as well. So please get your people online as I'm speaking, get them on for the crux of it. That's for the last section is really for the people who are already part of our community, part of our family, so that we can get everybody else on board, because the information is critical. And I think that's what's key here, is clear communication so that everybody knows what they need to do. So this week has been it's been like a roller coaster. Huge excitement and massive emotions, and then ups and downs with frustrations. Did this happen? Didn't that happen? Well, here's one thing that I've learned for being in the online business for nearly 6 years now, is that computer systems don't always work the way you want them to. And that's life. That is just the way it is. So I'm what's called a digital nomad. I work on my laptop. I spent a number of years setting myself up so that I could travel freely, and I've been happily unemployable after working in the hospitality industry for 27 years in my own business and corporate. So I come from a business corporate, worked for myself for many years, background into saying there's got to be a change in a different way of doing life. And when I was presented with a structure, not what we're speaking about tonight, but something very similar, it caught my attention. So I thought, aha, there's something very, very powerful in that. Right, I see we've got some people raising hands. What I'm going to actually ask is that the admin actually block the chat box so that we can focus on what we're talking about. If you have got any questions, please make a note of them and ask the person who invited you, or if you are part of the system, go online and put your question in the chat box, as we don't have the capacity here with the hundreds that come online to answer individual questions. We're here to share and have an opportunity of communicating with you. So I've only got 30 minutes to do a 1 hour, so I'm going to go straight into it. The information I'm sharing is unique. And I thought when I saw this, I didn't understand it, but I knew that the risks were low enough for me to find out as I got involved. I'd never heard of a gifting economy before. And it was extremely interesting to see that this whole other side of how money flows and money works that in my years I'd never come across. And perhaps I wasn't ready for it. There could be many reasons. But you're here this evening because you've been invited by somebody who respects and loves you enough to say, listen, have a look at this. If you find it interesting, it might change your life. It gives hope, gives opportunity. So it's a unique structure. If you've heard of gifting communities before, there's a couple of challenges that are typically found with them. And so what happened was last year, a group of very intelligent, highly experienced business people, networkers, gifting community people got together and said, we can actually solve those problems that often happen. And that's exactly what's gone and happened. So there's a lot of very unique algorithms that are in place here that make this very unique. It's been running now only for 4 days. At 9 p.m. tonight, it'll be the 4th day. So what we've learned and uncovered and seen, oh my goodness, the lives that is already being changed, and I'm not only talking from my own personal perspective, but the messages that myself and a lot of the team are getting is absolutely powerful. Now, anybody can become part of what we are doing. It's global community. Have a look at that screen. I'm not going to read it for you there. We can all read. But here's the key thing. If you're in a position where you're looking to say, what legal, correct way is there that I can get some additional cash flow to help me improve my life? And the why is the most critical aspect of why you would look at this. And it could be because you've got children and would like to spend more time with them, but your business or work life is taking up so much of that. Perhaps due to the economic mess the world is sitting in, your economy, your cash in your house is just being restricted and you're looking for saying, what else is there? Or perhaps like me, that you had said, you know what? This is not a midlife crisis. This is a midlife reset. There's got to be another way. 27 years doing one thing is enough. Thank you very much. It's not got me where I'm going. So whatever your reason is, get ready to get started. Be careful about overanalyzing this. Just see something important, grab it, and run with it. So these are the elements of the overview that I'm going to be going through, and we're going to break them down one at a time. Global gifting economy. It's a perpetual economy. Now, that word perpetual, I'm going to cover quite a bit more as we go through to explain what it means. If you don't know, it's ongoing. Powerful. Uplifting communities and yourself. Personally, I think that should be the other way around, because if you have not been able to uplift yourself and show proof that it works, how are you meant to uplift your family, your community, your network, your church, your organization, whoever you're connected with that you'd like to? You help them after you help yourself. It's the adage of when, hope it never happens, but the oxygen mask drops in the aeroplane. You always put your own first. Then you help other people. We can help develop a lot of abundance. There's a lot of self-education and development that must come from this. And that was a critical element for me. As I realized the skills and knowledge of business and communication and many things that I had in my background of traditional business and hospitality wasn't necessarily enough for me to be successful in this environment. Hence the reason that we're actually also here this evening for you. So sacred economics, what is that? Well, it's a financial gifting. Now, it's been around for centuries. This is not something new. In fact, there was a program which I was involved with last year, which was my first introduction, that had already helped way over 700,000 people and had been active since 2009. So this was no get-rich-quick scheme or one of those things that pops up on the internet and then disappears. This is here to stay for the long term. And why should it not be? In Africa, it's called the Ubuntu culture. It's about communities helping each other. That is what's so massively powerful. 100% legal. Even in South Africa, it's actually written into the Income Tax Act that this type of gifting economies are 100% legal, and that is pretty much in most countries around the world. Blessed millions. Well, the whole structure and system has, and we're busy doing exactly that as we're rolling out. As I said, only 4 days live. And while I was asking for numbers just now to see, we started on Monday evening with over 650, nearly 700,000 people, and to my 700,000, I wish, 6,500. Sorry, we'll get there. 6 months time, 5 months time, we'll get there. We've had thousands more joining this week, and every time people join, others gain and benefit. Hope, education, blessings, abundance. Here's something key. It's decentralized. Now, what does that mean? Gift of legacy is not owned by a person. Gift of legacy is not controlled. In fact, it doesn't actually hold any funds at all. All Gift of Legacy does, the online portal, is work out and maintain the algorithm and then connect people with each other around the world. So interactive website. Algorithms is two very, very smart ones. I don't understand how these numbers work, but the technical people do. And these are the guys that are powerful and knowledgeable enough to put this together for us. And what do you need? Access to the internet. These days, everybody has a smartphone or laptop. And while it's being upgraded, you maybe find that on the phone, it's not as user-friendly as yet. Bear with us. It's coming. We wanted to launch. We needed to start changing lives. And so it's going to grow. Peer-to-peer. Now, this to me was critical. Perhaps you, like myself, have lost a lot of money online. Last year, I was involved with a couple of organizations where the funds, your money, was actually held by a third party. They disappeared. Earlier this year, no, last year, now we're in 2022, in 2021, January, I was nearly wiped out completely because a business partner ran off with all of our money. There's a number of us that happened to. So when I found out that this is peer-to-peer, person to person, the funds, the money moves directly from individual to individual with no third party holding it or controlling it. No tokens, no platforms. This is a computer system that connects people directly, and the flow of money goes between them. Very powerful and a massive gold nugget for me, because I knew I wasn't relying on somebody else controlling my money. And that was a key lesson that I learned. Very expensive one, but hey, at University of Life. Perpetual, ongoing. It never stops. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Here's what I always say. 27 years working. Perhaps you've worked longer than I have, perhaps not as often. And you've changed jobs or you've had different contracts. How many of those jobs that you had continued to pay you when you left? So all that effort and that I used to have hair. My last job, I lost it all. Stress and hassle and pulling it out, whatever. I left after running that business 7 years and they stopped paying me. So what if there was a way that you could do the work once and continue to reap it perpetually? This is powerful. It's real. The way that it's built is nobody gets left behind. That is not for everybody. That is clear, and it's perfectly fine. If everybody did this, well, we need people, waiters, barmen, we need restaurant owners, we need doctors, we need lawyers, we need these people in our lives. So we don't want everybody to be financially free, but hey, if it's for you, fantastic. But share it with people who are like-minded, who are part of a giving and receiving. Receiving for me, very difficult actually. I was taught, I had to learn about this. I've been a giver, but to receive and to give on an ongoing basis, where the community's got the same goals, very, very powerful. Let's cut straight into the how do we do this? That's why. So how does it work and what do we actually do? There's two requirements here, and I'll cut straight to it. The first requirement is $100. It's not an investment. It's a gift you're giving somebody else to help uplift their lives. Once off, $100, never again. Now, when I heard that, I thought, well, that risks as low as anything. Let's see what the return is going to be from my 100. That's the first. The second thing is, if this was worthwhile, would you share it with somebody? You see, any organization in the world requires people. It requires cash flow. This, like anything, needs people. Who builds it? We do. So when you see value in something, do you share it with somebody else? Of course you do. So that's the second thing that you do. It only takes, there's only once off, as I said, in your pocket, peer-to-peer, and 100% of the funds goes from you to the second person. Now, what is very important is actually also to understand, this is what I had to learn as well. This week, I had to learn what WISE was. I never knew about it before, for helping international transactions. So I was being gifted, absolutely amazing, on Tuesday from a gent in the Philippines, and he used WISE. It took 30 seconds and the money was in my account. So if you're on here and you say, I don't know how to use WISE, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, get the link from the person who invited you, because Candace, an absolutely esteemed teacher and hugely knowledgeable lady, is going to be sharing how to set that up. Bank transfers in country, absolutely perfect. And for those of you, perhaps like me, cryptocurrencies. PayPal, you decide, not my first choice, I must be honest, but you need to learn some new skills. Why not? If you're going to receive dollars, I'm super quick going to learn how to use WISE in order to be able to get it. Now, I said $100 in. This is what a board looks like, and there's 4 of these. You will enter with your once-off $100. When you exit, in other words, you've gone through the process, I'm going to explain that to you now. You're going to exit with 800. So when I saw that, I thought, I don't understand it, but the best way is for me to get involved and find out as it goes. And Richard Branson actually said that if you're presented with something and you don't fully understand it, begin and learn as you go. Because even to this day, I'm learning every single day. So over the next couple of boards, I'm going to be going through, and you're going to be following that little U to just give an idea, an overview of actually how this all works. You enter with $100, as I've said, once off, only time that you ever take money from your pocket. You share this, bring in like-minded people. You move through the boards. The first is $100, second is $400, $1,600, and then a whopping, $5,000. What do you get from going through all the cycle? And this is just doing it once, because we're talking about ongoing income as well. Doing it once, $42,700. Now, would that make a difference in your life? Any country in the world, $42,700 is a substantial amount of money. But let's not get caught up on the big numbers. There's another number there. You can read it. I want to start on 100 and 800 and 400, which is perhaps for most people more palatable. And it took me a long time to start being able to understand thousands of dollars, which in Rand terms, I'm from South Africa in Cape Town, I'm calling from Cape Town, in Rand terms, $1,000 is 16,000 Rand. Now, that's more than double the average income in the country. So this is a board, and here's how it works. Now, I understand I'm only giving you an overview, and as things progress, stuff changes all the time, which is why we're here. It's very, very important to keep up to date, connected on the correct Telegram groups for the latest information, read the news and information on the website, and be on these calls as well, as things do change on an ongoing basis, and it's going to happen as any new organization does, as it materializes, it grows, it nurtures, and it matures. So you join, there you are on the left-hand side. You come in as a gifter. You'll see at the bottom, it says gifter, builder, guide, and in the middle, the legend. The legend in the middle is the one who actually receives the gift. It's not a payment, it's not funds, it's a gift, unconditional gift. So there's a skeptic on this call, maybe it's you, and you said, it's a pyramid scheme. Well, let's see in the next 10 minutes if I can actually answer that for you, whether you're still going to think it is or it isn't. All right, so $100 you enter. What happens? Well, as you can see on the left-hand side, there are 4 gifters. And on the right-hand side, there are another 4 gifters. So in order for the board to what we call flip or cycle or rotate, all 8 gifts need to come in. But I'm just focusing on the left-hand side at the moment, just for ease of the presentation. So what happens is the $100 comes in. The system will connect you and give you the contact information of the legend's email address and cell phone number. You as the gifter will say to them, hi, legend. Maybe you send them a WhatsApp or an email or phone them, up to you. You'll contact them and say, hi, legend, my name is Tim. I'm new on board 81109, and I would like to gift you $100. And the legend is like, wow, that's absolutely amazing, Tim. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm in South Africa, and I'd love to be able to receive it in my account, or cryptocurrencies or wires. Where are you? And you chat about each other, come to agreement. Then I would turn around and say, hey, I'm in South Africa as well. Give me your bank account number, and I'll gift that to you. That needs to be done within 24 to 36 hours. You're only going to join when you're ready. Why? Because we want to move. We don't want to stagnate. We want to go. So you're going to have your $100. You're going to gift it on to somebody. And when you're a legend, and I'll show you how that happens now, you want the people, the gifters come in to act like you would want to act as well. Always consider that too. So here we go. Once all 8 gifts are come in, the board splits. You then move to the next section, the builder. Now, what does a builder do? Exactly what it says. The builder brings in 2 people. Now, do you have to bring in 2? Yes, everybody does. Remember, there was 2 requirements. $100 once off ever, and the next is 2 people once off ever. Anybody has access to more than 2 people. Personally, way more than that. I have huge belief, huge understanding. It sits in my heart, not my head. I'm happy to share this with anybody and everybody, and multiples come in because it just helps the entire community, and that's what we're here for. So when you're a builder, what is your role? You have a task to do. Everybody has a task. There's no get-rich-quick scheme. You don't put $100 in and sit back and get rich. It doesn't work. They don't work. I've tried them. Believe me. Learn my lessons wide and far. There we go. So $100, you bring in your gifters. The other builder who also came in also brings theirs. As all 8 fill up of the board is going to do what we call cycle or split again. And then you move to the guide. Right, so now you're getting close to legend. You see what happened over here. Once all 8 people came in and the board split, this guide moved to legend on their own board. You are now legend. What do you do as a guide? As what the role says, your title is guide. You are guiding the people that you brought in, your teammates, everybody else on the board. You don't focus just on who you know, you focus on the collective community. This is a community. We work together. You help those two people do exactly what you've just done. You connect them, you get them on the training, you make sure they're on the presentations, and that information of what you now know from having done it, you teach them so they can bring in theirs. What happens when all 8 come in? Remember, it flows through on both sides of the board. What happens then? The board splits, and this is why it is not a pyramid scheme. You see, the guy that was the builder is now at the bottom of the next board. You're at the top. So when you get to the top, you go back to the bottom. Why do you do that? Because it gives everybody a chance to also be gifted. This is where it gets powerful. Look at the numbers. 8 by $100 comes in directly to you. That's the power of a gifting economy. $800 gifts. Now, here's something very important to learn and understand. Cash flow. At the moment around the world, economies and governments talking recession. South Africa was in its big recession. I don't know if we still are. I don't follow that because a recession is in your mind. It's nowhere else. You see, a recession happens when people stop the flow of money. Governments control it. I'm not going to go into that detail right now. That's economics. But the basis is people then get scared and they stop the flow of money. When you stop the flow of money, that means you're not going to the restaurant. That means the waiter isn't getting an income. That means the restaurant owner is not making any money. The restaurant owner is not buying eggs and milk and cheese and bread. He's not employing a chef. He can't pay his rent to the landowner, to the owner of the building. So the flow of money stops. People lose jobs. Right. So what do we need to do here to ensure there's cash flow? You see, you're guarding, looking after quite a substantial amount of this money. In fact, $500. You're going to keep $300 in your pocket. So it's not a business, but if you look at it like I do from a businessman's perspective, $100 in, $300 return after your expenses. I like that number. That's okay. If I can do a 300% return like that, what else can I do on the other boards? Because there's 4 of them. Now, this is where the money comes from for the next board, because you've been gifted 800. 400 of it gets kept aside. You're looking after it. You're not spending it. You'll learn how to budget, make sure that it doesn't go into your bank account and then get absorbed into your any debts. Just be careful. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to move over to the following board. And let's be honest, $300 is nice, but it's not life-changing. I'm going to show you life-changing money right now. So you're going to take $400 and you're going to use that to gift the legend on the following board. Now for the perpetual income, you're taking $100 and you're going to put it back onto another, this will be your second, $100 board, because you also want to, now you've done it once, you've done the work once, being introduced to 2 people. You want to be gifted, apologies, on an ongoing basis. But here's where it's absolutely powerful. Look at that number. You receive 800, but this time you keep 700, not 300. Why? Because you're already on a $400 board and you only have to gift that forward once. That's powerful. $700 on an ongoing basis. As each board cycles, you start at the bottom, go to the top. Exactly the same structure, over and over and over again. Here's what happens now on the next board. So you're on a $400 board. You start in exactly the same position as you did on the 100. You start as a gifter at the bottom. The computer system will show you and give you the introduction to who the legend is. Maybe you know them, maybe you don't. They could be anywhere in the world. We are worldwide, without border, without restrictions. You gift $400 there. After $400, you see what happens is, as all 8 positions become, the board flips again. It cycles. You move to builder. Then once the 8 people come in, you move to guide. Once that comes in, you move to legend. I've gone from being a builder to a legend in 3 days. Powerful that. So I know it works. Here we go. $3,200. That's 8 by 400. That starts making a difference. But just like on the first board, you're going to need to look after. You're guarding quite a substantial amount of money here. Understand how to budget. Make sure that you don't spend it. $1,600, that's $1,600 is kept aside for the following board and $400 for your perpetual board. So remember now, by this time, you finished your second board. Your perpetual 100 boards are ticking over. You perhaps have already been gifted extra couple of $100 while this was moving on your other board as well. You never know. The speed of how this is moving is absolutely mind-blowing. And what I knew from theory before and seeing it in practice now is powerful. $1,200 is yours to keep. Now we're starting to look more exciting. Look at this. $2,800 on an ongoing basis on a perpetual board. I sound like a salesman. I get so excited. This number's, wow. You're only holding back $400 for the gift as a leg to the new legend on the new perpetual board. $2,800 is what you get to keep. How powerful is that? But does it get any better? Here's your next board, $1,600 in, $12,800 when you exit. Works on exactly the same format. 8 people come in who have come from the $400 board, sorry, from the $400 board, or even people from the perpetual 1,600 board could come in and fill. And as you become legend, that's what you get out. What happens after that? What are you looking after? You're looking after $5,000. That's choke, a lot of money. I am so looking forward to the day when I gift somebody $5,000, 75, 80 odd thousand rand. Buy a reasonable second-hand car for that amount of money in South Africa. This is crazy. You see, I know if I gift somebody, it's only a short matter of time before somebody's going to be gifting me back. And how powerful is that? You're at the end of this going to be then holding back 5,000 and 16,000. Let's go through what that means. $6,200 in your pocket. Now that makes a difference. If you had an extra $6,200 come into your life, how would it change your life? Would you sleep more peacefully? Say when you sleep peacefully, you sleep like a baby. I think that's wrong. Don't babies wake up every few hours crying? I hope to not sleep like a baby anymore. I'm just going to sleep with peace because I know I've got this cash flow. On top of my job, I haven't fired my boss yet. Not yet. Coming, but not yet. I need 7 income streams before I'm going to fire my boss. $11,200 is what you're going to get out of a perpetual board on the 1,600. Powerful, powerful number on an ongoing basis. Now you're on 3 perpetual boards. And you've just joined your $5,000 board. You're on $100 perpetual, just continues as you go off a legend, back onto the bottom, you keep gifting. Your $400, that's exactly what you're doing. Your $1,600, you started that, now you're on the $5,000 board. And you exit with $40,000, 8 by 5,000. But here's what's powerful. You see the fourth board at 5,000 is the last one. So all you're doing is keeping aside $5,000. $35,000 is in your pocket. Now I've got your attention. If you have disbelief, that's fine. Absolutely understandable. That's a lot of money. Just start with 800. Just start with the 1,600s. Let's keep there first. But your mind will expand as you see the flow of money. And that's what happens with experience. This is the perpetual board on an ongoing basis. You're going to journey through these 4 boards. Here's a reminder. This is what we've just spoken about. Take a screenshot of this. Take a screenshot of that, stick it on the ceiling. When you're lying in bed, look at those numbers, visualize it, get it into your psyche. That this is possible. How do you know? Because you're meeting people who are doing and have done exactly what I'm speaking about. This is what you can earn. Well, it's not an earning, apologies. This is how much money you can get to keep as gifts. 42,700 the first time you cycle through. After you've been on perpetual boards, this is actually understated. To work out the real number is impossible because the boards continue to cycle, so you're receiving gifts on an ongoing basis. Yesterday, I wake up and I've got 2 emails. Tim, I'd like to gift you $100. Absolutely amazing. I got this while I was asleep. Why? Because we're around the world and they're in America. They're awake. I'm asleep. Here's a couple of guidelines. Remember, I'm cutting through this quite quickly. I've left myself with 1 minute. Oh dear, let's cut, let's go. The first cycle, here's what's very important. Everybody brings their 2. If you came over and you were gifted a position on Monday and you were gifted a position in, you're still required to bring in 2. Why? Without people, it's not going to move. Just hanging around and waiting for other people, well, that's not the kindred philosophy. And anybody who comes in and says, I'm going to wait for other people to do the work, what you put in is what you get out. What's very important to understand is if you don't bring your 2 and you become a legend, that's the middle position. You haven't brought 2 people in, you'll be sidelined. Okay, so you're going to be put onto the side. You're not going to lose anything. Still got that 800. You're going to keep 500 of it back, of course. When you find your 2, you can carry on. Understanding the perpetual boards. That activity, that cycle, when you become legend, in order to get on a perpetual board, means that all 8 gifters have to be confirmed and you've got your 2. Okay? Remember, you only bring your 2 once. By all means, bring more. User-friendly. It's actually quite powerful. When I got in, I thought, wow, this is actually quite simple. Being updated and upgraded, fail-safe, the algorithms, the system, the structure, absolutely powerful. Really, really amazing. We got some phenomenal things going to come in the future. Cross-pollination. Okay, you can read the rest of this. Fast track, and then the support bot, which is live. So the cross-pollination means that now no one gets left behind. You see, everybody moves through, and once you've moved through, you're going to go onto a board which is perhaps a slow board, so that we don't ever see boards which are stagnating. That's unique, and I've already seen it come into play. Absolutely powerful. Fast track training coming on, how you can actually speed this whole process up. The support bot is actually a live, it's not support bot, it's support people. There's a community that got together that's part of the support. When you click on support, you're actually talking to a real person, and they are not a representative of Gift of Legacy. All that person is somebody like you who wants to just help others, and maybe he's got a little bit more knowledge. So if you're around and you think, yes, I'd like to be part of it, please put your hand up to whoever introduced you. Say, I'm quite happy to contribute to being support. We'll take you through the training, because right now it's about the people, and people are speaking to people. I hate it when you get that support bot thing that gives you the answer and you never get the answer. All right, here's some important points. Please take a screenshot of this. Your participation is critical. Without your participation, that's live Zooms, that's recordings, that's training, bringing you to being part of your community, talking to your community. Without that, it doesn't work. Please make sure you're also compliant with any tax laws. Don't get stuck just because you're getting all this money in. The tax man knows. Declare it. Find out what the tax laws are. Very, very important. Spoken about the rest. Screenshot that. It's critical information. There are terms and conditions that you also need to know. I'm going to say thank you all very much. Whew, I need to take a deep breath. A 45-minute one in half an hour. Now, this presentation is available recordings in more detail with somebody who talks slightly slower than I do. Ask the person who invited you for one of these YouTube recordings. Otherwise, join us on a Tuesday to Friday, 8 p.m. South African time, and keep an eye on the posts on the Telegram groups for the Afrikaans, the German, the Spanish, the many other languages that it's actually presented in. Get those times as well. Otherwise, do join us. Thank you very much. Tomorrow, 10 o'clock, a very important training about WISE and other setups and structures, especially with a new dynamic growing organization and kindred philosophies that you need to stay connected to get the latest information.